conversation I cannot wait to have because people are trying to suggest that Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer.
I want to
people.
People.
I'm pretty sure I was the genesis of it.
Let's say your homies, because all your homies here.
100%. Here's my thought process, y'all. Like, can we not get too lenient with this Hall of Fame thing? I think Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Fame talent. Matthew Stafford is probably a top 3 quarterback since the turn of the century as it pertains to talent exclusively. I would probably say Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford. Exclusive quarterback talent. If you want to throw in Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, sure. But resume? That's bad math. There's no way to me for the conversation when it comes up that Matthew Stafford, career losing record, Matthew Stafford, no All-Pros, Shady. You know you talk about people who ain't got no All-Pros. 16 years in the league, no All-Pros. Not first team nor second team. Matthew Stafford, only 2 Pro Bowls. Matthew Stafford, no Super Bowl MVP. There's no way in my mind, Shady, that we can move the barometer for Hall of Fame so low that we would let somebody that has no All-Pros into the Hall of Fame and only 2 Pro Bowls. But, Shady, you're an All-Pro a couple times over, so I don't even know how you could suggest he could get in.
This is one thing I'm about to get with right now. This is why people love me, though, because I'm a team player, right? Hey, Chase. Hey, Chase, I'm taking the collar off, dog. Do your thing. Get him. You know what I mean?
100% is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer. 100%. I really think he is. And before I make the argument for it, because I'm come prepared, I just want people to understand that currently there are only 26 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. That is it, which I think makes his case a little bit more difficult to get in. However, the case I will make is this, okay? As quarterbacks, you're remembered for what you do at the end of your career, in my opinion, and what you do in December, January, and February. How do you play down the stretch? Matthew Stafford, for the Rams as a quarterback, he's 19-4 in those 3 months. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. So check. That is the biggest thing I think that gets him in there. He's been to the playoffs 3 of the 4 seasons with the Rams. Okay, here's the thing. Stafford's career stats, because he's already got the Super Bowl, check it off, we good, and he was the main player in that run. Okay, in my opinion, he was 10th most passing yards in NFL history. 10th most passing touchdowns in NFL history. One of 9 players in NFL history with a 5,000-yard season. So he's got that too.
Jameis Winston. Go ahead.
Okay. Tied for 4th most fourth-quarter comebacks in NFL history. That's what I'll remember him as, because I played with the dude in Detroit. He was an absolute baller when the game was on the line. He's the 2nd fastest player in the NFL history, behind Patrick Mahomes to 20,000 passing yards. The dude's a warrior, and he's the fastest player. He's the fastest player to 40,000 passing yards in NFL history. If Eli Manning is getting in, then Matt Stafford better get in. And quite honestly, you talk about these All-Pros, you talk about this, I don't care. That's not the qualifications last time I checked for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The only qualifications, you have to be at least retired for 5 years, and you have to make at least 1 Pro Bowl. Dude's got 2. He's getting in. It's a lock for me. That's it. That's it. He's getting in. It's a lock.
Wait, did you research that, or you just... I took the collar off you to do your thing. That's a true fact.
No, you only need 1 Pro Bowl to get into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's the qualification.
That's the qualification.
So no All-Pros?
No.
Here's my thing,
At least 1 Pro Bowl or an All-Pro selection.
Let me get my jacket. Let me get my jacket right here. That's what you need. I got a couple of those.
There's no Hall of Fame quarterback that has no All-Pros and no Super Bowl MVP. There is not one. If you have to make such a strong case to get into the Hall of Fame, you probably shouldn't get into the Hall of Fame. Like, if you got to talk about 4th quarter comebacks to get into the Hall of Fame, if you got to talk about, one, why are you always trailing? That's my thing. You got the most 4th quarter.
He played for the Lions for 12 seasons.
If you got to beg to make a case,
that's why.
You shouldn't get into the Hall. I don't know if you ever had to get into the club.
No one's begging.
You got to start convincing people, like, hey, you don't know who I am?
Yeah.
Now, you ain't see that? No, but you don't remember I played for the... If you got to start doing all that, you probably don't belong.
If Eli Manning and Troy Aikman are in the Hall of Fame, sorry, guys.
3
He's
Super
getting
Bowls
in.
for Troy Aikman and a Super Bowl MVP.
Bruh,
don't.
2 Super Bowl MVPs for Eli Manning.
Eli.
Now, here's the difference.
Eli.
If y'all are
one
having,
game
if y'all are having
in a season.
If y'all are having a talent conversation,
I'm not.
Of course, Matthew
not.
Stafford is more talented. But if it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Name, if it's the Hall of Fame, then you need to have been one of the best players in football when it mattered most, or one of the best players in football during the course of a season, of which Matthew Stafford was never. He wasn't the best when it mattered most. That was Cooper Kupp. He wasn't the best during the course of the season. That was a plethora of other quarterbacks during the course of his career.
Okay, and I will say to you, you talk about like all pros, how he doesn't have any all pros. There's never been a quarterback with all pro. Hold on. The only thing I am worried about, and I'll give you this, is in Matthew Stafford's era, Brady, Manning, Breeze, Rodgers, and Roethlisberger. So all these are on the Mount Rushmore. He might be forgotten. That's what I'm worried about. That's why he didn't win all pros, is because all these guys are locked first ballot Hall of Famers.
I believe Tony Romo got an all-pro in there.
Yo, what's like, you going or I'm going?
Hey, what? Go ahead, Chip. Go
I
ahead.
just want to know, because I think he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
Right? And like the names you just said is, so when I look at the Hall of Fame, right, I'm thinking, yo, in your time, were you ever considered one of the best at your position? At least top 5, right? And he has a Super Bowl. He has a lot of stats. When I look at Eli Manning, now I played in Eli Manning's division, okay? When they won the Super Bowl, I actually cheered for Eli Manning. I was like, hey, I'm hating on Brady. I don't want to be another championship. When you watch Eli Manning, because you think he should be in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, resume. I played with Eli Manning. I was on practice squad with the Giants. I know Eli's not that good.
How bad was he?
He's not good.
But you say he's in the Hall of Fame, though.
It was a resume. He had the Hall of Fame
was
resume.
he ever one of the best players in his position?
No, but when he mattered most, he was the best player on the field.
See, but I could do the same thing for Joe Flacco. Right? He was good at a period. See, what I don't do, though, right, and people don't like my style, but I don't promote and praise average or above average play. I don't do that. That's not my thing. We playing this elite sport. We're the best of the best. I don't do that. So I'm not going, and I got respect for Eli Manning, right? Did stuff a lot, I got respect for them guys, but he wasn't that good. Troy Aikman played on a great team. Troy Aikman, I'm not going to say he was bad, but I think a lot of people would take Matthew Stafford before Troy Aikman.
Of course.
Okay,
of course. But this isn't a who would you take game.
But he's in the Hall of Fame, though. He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Sure, but I would take a lot of guys over Joe Namath that aren't going to be into the Hall, aren't going to go into the Hall of Fame. Like, this isn't what would you take?
All I'm saying is, so these are things that he didn't do, right? Because you talk about things that he didn't do. I'm just going to talk about things he did do, right? I'm going to keep it positive, okay? Because I'm a positive person. All right, he's 10th most passing yards in NFL history, all right? So as long as the NFL's been around, he's 10th all time. He's 10th in passing touchdowns. As long as
history.
History. As long as the NFL's been around, right? I don't know what he's talking about, but I know he has the 10th most passing yards in history. He has the 10th most passing touchdown in history.
Yeah.
And all of history, James Jones, right, of this pigskin football.
I'm just trying to clarify.
He's one of 9 players in NFL history to have 5,000 yards in a season, bro. And he ain't James Winston throwing for 30 touchdowns, 30 picks. He ain't that one of them guys. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And to say he's not a Hall of Famer, it's like, what's a Hall of Famer? Yeah. Being one of the best in your class, man. Yeah. Being one of the best in your time. And he didn't have Emmitt Smith and all-pro linemen and all-pro wide receivers. He ain't had them dudes. He probably had one guy with Calvin Johnson. Then he goes to the Rams in the first year. He brings him a Super Bowl.
Is it the Hall of really good, James? Is it the Hall of played for a really long time? Because Eli Manning is 11th in history in passing yards, behind Matthew Stafford at 10th. Okay. So if the line of demarcation is 10th, then I would suggest there's 2 Super Bowl MVPs for Eli Manning. So it's not the Hall of played for a really long time. Carson Palmer is 15th in passing yards in history. Russell Wilson is 17th and will likely retire in the top 15. It's not the Hall of played for a long time, bro. It is the Hall of Fame.
Okay, really quick though, man. Like, let's first off let's just toss the stats to the side.
Okay.
Can
we not toss accolades?
No, hold on.
Just all the stats. Give me all the stats. Give me all the stats.
Take all the stats and the accolades.
Yo.
Not accolades.
Stats.
Get them going right now.
Stats is going.
Stats and accolades, get them going right now.
I throw them away.
They going right now. Just listen. Stats and accolades, they going. All right? You started your take with Aaron Rodgers, Pat, and who?
Stafford. He's like that.
So he's a Hall of Fame talent.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes,
all
unequivocally.
right, so he's a Hall of Fame talent. Throw it back to him.
Bring him back in.
Throw it back to him.
Back in the joint.
So now let's bring the stats in.
Yep.
Stats back.
And accolades.
Hold on. Now let's bring the stats in.
Stats back.
So not accolades. Just
not yet. Now let's bring the stats in. Okay?
That's here.
He just said 60,000 is in the top 10 in the history of the National Football League.
That's what I said. That's right here. That's what I said.
He said something else in the history.
I got you. Safe all-time passing touchdown.
Passing
touchdown.
touchdown.
That's it. When you throw the ball, you score. Yup, right there.
In the history.
Yup, right there.
In the history of the National Football League. So we got to check on Hall of Fame talent. We got to check on Hall of Fame stats.
So we throw the accolades in here.
No, wait. Throw the ball back. Throw the ball back.
Ah!
Not ready yet.
Throw the ball back, Shady. Throw the ball back so we can. Now toss it back. Toss it back.
Bring the accolades in here.
Now,
Accolades back in.
it's some Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame with 0 Super Bowl rings.
But not 0 Pro Bowl.
Whoa.
Not 0 All Pros.
Super Bowl.
So
an
I
All-Pro
will
Super
say now, it is harder to win a Super Bowl than get an All-Pro. I'm just saying,
Right, but
you
they're
understand what I'm
neither.
saying?
They're
So
neither.
what I'm saying is, it is quarterbacks that don't have his stats, that don't have Super Bowl rings in the Hall of Fame, and obviously don't got his talent.
Don't got his talent. That is true. They don't
So
have
all
his
three.
talent.
So, Mr. Emmanuel Acho, what are we even talking about? It is dudes in the Hall of Fame that don't have his talent, that don't have his stats, and don't have a Super Bowl ring. And we're talking about leaving Matthew Stafford out of the Hall of Fame. It sounds crazy.
Here's my fear.
All you care about.
My fear is this. If Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer, which I don't care. Like, he was from Highland Park, Dallas. I'm from Dallas. He went to high school when I was in high school. I love watching him play in high school. I don't care if he gets in or not. I'm suggesting this. If Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer, you're now lowering the barometer so much so that you now have to
that's
let so
disrespectful.
many individuals.
For a top 10
that.
quarterback in stats
That's
and all that.
disrespectful.
You're lowering the barometer, Jay. Like, if it comes down to, if it takes a Super Bowl, but you don't have to win MVP, and you don't have to have any All-Pros. I mean, Shady, we mocked Dak Prescott because it took him 8 years to become an All-Pro. Matthew Stafford's played for 16. There have been 32 All-Pros during Matthew Stafford's tenure, and you didn't get one of 32 slots.
So hold on.
You didn't get one of 32 slots.
So wait, really quick.
32, Jay.
So hold on, though, because I think when we start having these conversations, we forget about watching the dude play football. So you mean to tell me a dude like Dak Prescott, with all due respect to Dak Prescott, since he cracked an All-Pro, you mean to tell me if he puts up these stats and gets up there even close to Matthew Stafford, he's a Hall of Famer because he has one second-team All-Pro over Matthew Stafford, dog?
No, sir.
And Matthew Stafford's not a Hall of Famer?
No, sir.
That's crazy.
What I'm suggesting is this. If Matthew Stafford is thus a Hall of Famer, let Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl. He now is a Hall of Famer, too. That's what y'all are suggesting. If Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl, because then all it would take is a Super Bowl, playing for a long time. Of course you're going to be top in passing yards because most people who played now are top in passing yards. Name a player that played in the 80s that's top in passing yards. The league is adjusted. Brady, Brees, Manning, Favre,
So how about watching them play, dog? Like for real though. Like, how about watching Matthew Stafford play? Do you see a Hall of Fame player when you
Hall of Fame talent?
He's Hall of Fame for me for taking
Forget the talent.
Detroit
Look
to
at the
playoffs.
player when you watch him play. It's a lot of running backs, and I know we sticking on. It's a lot of running backs that got a lot more yards and stuff than certain players, and he ain't in your top 5 and all that type of stuff. Why? Because you watched him, Acho.
You talking that? What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.